You ever feel like you're just constantly bombarded by things outside your control?
Mm-hmm.
Like you really want to get a grip, maybe find some solid ground, but the world just keeps spinning.
Yeah, definitely.
That's sort of what we're tackling today. We're doing a deep dive into the Stoic mindset. It's this ancient philosophy, but it's surprisingly relevant for finding some inner peace, you know? Building resilience in our kind of chaotic lives.
It really is.
Think of this as maybe your shortcut to understanding the core ideas and, importantly, how you can actually use them.
Yeah.
No dusty textbooks needed here.
Exactly. And what's so powerful about Stoicism, I think, is just how practical it is, even now. These aren't just like abstract thoughts. They offer really tangible tools.
Tools to navigate everyday stuff.
Yeah, the everyday challenges and to cultivate a sense of calm even when things feel stormy.
Okay. So where do we start? There's this big foundational idea, right, that virtue is the only good.
Yes.
Now that sounds a bit old-fashioned, maybe. What do they really mean by virtue?
Well, for the Stoics, it really boiled down to 4 key strengths or virtues. There's wisdom, basically knowing how to live well, make good choices.
Mm-hmm.
Justice, which is about treating others fairly. Courage, facing difficulties with, integrity. And temperance, moderation, self-control.
Okay. Wisdom, justice, courage, temperance.
Right? And what's really crucial is how they viewed everything else. Things like wealth, health, your reputation. They called these indifferent.
Indifferent, meaning they didn't matter.
Not quite. Not that they didn't matter at all, but that they weren't inherently good or bad in themselves. They don't determine your happiness.
Huh. That's a real shift in perspective. So if those external things aren't the actual key to happiness, then what is?
The Stoics believe true fulfillment, real happiness, comes from inside, from living in accordance with those virtues.
Living virtuously.
Think of it this way. Even when things around you are totally turbulent, you can still find this deep sense of purpose by focusing on being wise, just, courageous, and self-disciplined in your own actions.
Right. That actually makes a certain kind of sense. It feels like it puts the power back in your own hands somehow.
It does.
And I guess that links to another really big concept you hear about, the dichotomy of control.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is maybe one of the most immediately useful Stoic insights I find. It's simply about drawing a really clear line between what's genuinely within our power, like our thoughts, our judgments, our actions, and what just isn't. External events, other people's opinions, the weather.
The weather, yeah.
Can't control that.
You name it. So much is outside our control.
So it's about focusing your energy where it actually makes a difference, like prepping for a big meeting.
Perfect example.
You can control how prepared you are,
yeah,
what you decide to say, but you can't totally dictate how every single person in the room will react.
Precisely. The Stoic approach is channel all your effort into the preparation, into the things you can influence.
Yeah.
And honestly, that focus, it's incredibly freeing. It's a direct path to, well, greater peace of mind. Focus internal, let go external. Okay. Now, another phrase that comes up is living in accordance with nature. Sometimes they mention logos. That sounds a bit lofty.
It can sound that way, yeah. But at its core, it's about recognizing that the universe has a kind of inherent order, a rationality. The Stoics called this logos.
Okay.
So for us as humans, living in accordance with our nature means using our capacity for reason, using reason to understand this natural order and to live harmoniously within it.
Harmoniously with the world and with each other.
Exactly. It's kind of like understanding the rules of the game so you can play it well, using reason as our guide.
Got it. Using reason to navigate. Okay. Now, there's this common misunderstanding about Stoics, that they're all about suppressing emotions, being like robots.
Ah, yes. That's a really persistent myth. It's definitely not about becoming emotionless.
What is it about then?
It's more about understanding and managing our emotions and, crucially, examining the judgments, the thoughts, that often trigger those really strong negative feelings.
Examining the judgments.
Yeah. The goal isn't to feel nothing. It's apatheia. Which sounds like apathy, but it really means a state of calm, of clear-mindedness, where your emotions don't just hijack your reason. Think of it less like no wind and more like being skilled at sailing through the storm.
Ah, okay. So it's about reframing. Like if something frustrating happens, instead of just reacting, you pause, look at why you feel frustrated, what judgment you made.
Exactly. You examine that judgment, and then you can choose a more reasoned response.
And I suppose this leads into their ideas about acceptance and building resilience.
It does, naturally. They were realists. They understood life inevitably through its curveballs, right? Challenges happen. Acceptance for them isn't passive resignation, like just giving up.
It's not.
No, it's more a clear-eyed, realistic acknowledgement of what is genuinely outside our control, facing reality.
I remember reading something about negative visualization. That sounds, well, kind of depressing.
It sounds counterintuitive, I know, but it's actually a surprisingly powerful tool. It's not about dwelling on the bad.
Then what is it?
It's about mentally considering potential misfortunes, maybe losing something you value, facing a setback. By doing this, you first often cultivate more gratitude for what you do have right now.
Oh, okay. Appreciation.
And second, you emotionally prepare yourself. If difficulties do arise later, they feel less shocking, less overwhelming. You've kind of rehearsed them mentally. It builds resilience.
Huh. It's a surprising twist on building mental toughness.
Okay, one last piece. The Stoics also talked about our place in the world, right? Something about duty.
Yes, absolutely. Social responsibility was key. They didn't see us as isolated individuals. They really emphasized our interconnectedness.
We're all in it together.
Pretty much. We have a responsibility, a duty to act with fairness, respect, and compassion towards others. The goal of inner peace wasn't just for yourself in isolation. It was meant to help you contribute positively to the community, to the whole. Wow, okay. So it really all weaves together then. Focus on your character, your virtues, understand what you can and can't control. Live rationally, use your reason, manage those emotional reactions, accept what you can't change, and yeah, play your part in society.
You've got it. It's a surprisingly comprehensive way to navigate life, isn't it?
It really is.
It's just a timeless framework, really, for building that inner strength, that inner peace that doesn't depend on what's happening outside.
Okay, so a final thought for you listening. Maybe consider just one area of your life, maybe this week. Where could continually consciously focusing on what you can control, rather than getting caught up in what you can't? Where might that bring the most immediate sense of calm? Or empowerment? Just think, how might applying even one of these Stoic ideas subtly shift your perspective? Something to mull over.